Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 38. I am Matt Beatty, joined us alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardall. If you want to join the show, get involved, tell us what you think about any of the topics we talk about, go ahead and tweet at us. I'm at Beatty_Matt. Sean is at Sean_Beatty. Kev is at Kev's Believes with the first team, believes me in the three. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Follow us on the Eli Network. Gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about some other sports news going on in Seattle before we dive into some Mariners talk. So I was able to watch some of the Seattle Sounders, both games this past week. Since we were last on air, the Sounders won 1-0 over San Jose last Wednesday, and then they were able to win 2-0 over LAFC yesterday. I watched most of that game, and that was a good game to watch. So the Sounders still undefeated. I believe they're the only team in MLS without a loss. So that team is humming. And it's early in the season, but man, do the Sounders look good. So it's really nice to see them playing well, even without Jordan Mortis. Jordan, come back soon. We miss you. But it's great to see the Sounders playing so well. Also, want to touch on a little bit of hockey news. That's right, guys, hockey news. Sean, this one might be a little bit more for you. Seattle Kraken have officially signed their first player. It is Luke Henman, and he is currently a player in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, I believe it is. I'm not sure which of those, or is it Ontario? I forget which league it is. But he is the first official Seattle Kraken player to sign. So the expansion draft is coming later in the summer, but it's nice to see that they officially got their status as their 32nd organization in the league, and now they've already started making moves. So Luke Henman, welcome to Seattle, and can't wait to see you in a Kraken uniform. Any comments from you two about either of those things? Anything you want to mention?
Oh, I'll go. There are two teams undefeated, Matthew, but
Are there?
yes, Orlando City. But yeah, the Sounders. I mean, there's a couple things that I want to say. Like Rudy looks really good. However, it's kind of the whole um, running back situation in the NFL. I'll give an example is he looks really good because he's scoring the goal, but I think a lot more of it goes to efficiency. Whereas like Brad Smith and the wingers are actually doing a really good job getting him open. Because honestly, most of those goals are pretty easy goals that anybody can make, like a WAR, a wins over replacement type thing. So we need to be getting more love to the guy who's actually setting up. And Brad Smith's been playing pretty well. Like guys like that, the wingers are really what's doing it. The midfielders are really what's setting up these strikers for really easy goals, like really honestly chip shot goals. And they've obviously missed a couple ones they should have made anyways. So, but I think that just in general, like the whole front half and Stephen Fry is just a beast back there, probably the best goalie in the MLS. But I think the wingers are really what needs to get a lot of love. They've been so much better than everybody else, and a lot of them honestly are known, but not like you know a lot of them have been written off kind of, and I think they're getting a lot out of them. So it's been very, very good.
I don't know if you saw that goal by Christian Roldan against San Jose, that volley off his chest
Oh,
into that midair
that
strike
was
and just
nuts.
in the back of
That
the
was
net.
nuts.
Like that
Yeah,
was beautiful. That
yeah.
was
I
beautiful.
missed that entire game unfortunately, but I did watch the LA game. So
Yeah, the Sounders, man. I mean, throughout that lineup, and they brought in an 18-year-old yesterday, who seemed to just kind of fit right in. So Sounders have a lot of depth on that team, but transition. Let's move into the Seattle Mariners here, gentlemen. So let's take a look back at the week that was for the Seattle Mariners. So let's just mention the elephant in the room. Jared Kelenic did get called up, and it was not as totally advertised, I would say, but it was pretty good, as did Logan Gilbert. So let's talk about the last week of results. They played a 2-game series against the Dodgers. Tuesday, Wednesday, lost both games 6-4, 7-1. Then they lost Kelnick's debut as well as Gilbert's debut 4-2 against Cleveland at home on Thursday before rounding into form and taking the next three and the series from Cleveland, winning 7-3 on Friday and Saturday before winning 3-2 yesterday. They are currently playing Detroit. I'm sure one of you has the score up here. Actually, I've
three
got a
zero Detroit.
3-0 Detroit, top 7 right now. So, gentlemen, I'm just going to throw it to you and tell me what you thought of the week that was, as well as the debuts of Gilbert and Kelnick. So, Kevin, I'm going to start with you.
Well, we found out the Dodgers are really good. I mean, we kind of technically already knew that. And we're still not there yet, you know, and that's okay. Like, we shouldn't be mad losing to the Dodgers because they're, like, as we mentioned, they're really good. Um, the Kelnick move was kind of, we thought was coming. The Gilbert move was kind of what surprised everybody. But with so many pitchers getting hurt and stuff like that, it makes sense. Why not just see what the kids got, type of deal. I didn't get to see, I was at work during his pitching part, which kind of sucked, but so I'll let Sean kind of get into that since he was able to see it. I got to the game, was able to start it around the 6th. Kelnick looked, for the most part, over this series with Cleveland. He's making contact, which is good. The home run that he had was nice. Like, the main thing, which, you know, it kind of happens with a lot of rookies too, is just patience at the plate. He was getting in a lot of early just 0-2 counts and then just had to swing at garbage. So it's just kind of like, I think he needs a little bit more patience, which it's his first series. I'm not going to really knack on him, you know, type of deal. Too hard, but it's something that does need to be worked on. His fielding has been good so far from what I've seen. He made some pretty decent catches. So, yeah, I'm excited to see him continue on. Even though he's only hitting 200 right now, but he's still doing, you know, it's still early, so we'll see. He's 1 for 2 right now so far, unless he's came up again.
1 for 3.
Is he 1 for 3? Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1 for 3.
Oh, and then I guess the series against Indians, or excuse me, against Cleveland. Can't really. It was nice that they got against Beaver. That was really kind of surprising. I thought Beaver was just going to just crush us, like he's been doing all season long, and we kind of held our own against him because that guy named Haniger is kind of good. Just seems like a thing. So that was the only other real thing to note, is the Mariners did well against one of the top pitchers in the league.
John, what are your thoughts?
Like Kevin said, the Dodgers are good. Losing them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Cleveland does one thing, and that's pitch. Like, even like Kevin said, like Plesac's really good. Savali's really good. McKenzie's really good. And Bieber's just, what? You could argue at worst the third best pitcher in baseball. And you could argue he's the best pitcher in baseball. Like, that 1 to 3. He's like, so beating those Savale, McKenzie, and Bieber is like nothing to scoff at. That's what makes me, they're 1 game above 500 right now. Come back to the week before, losing to Texas and Baltimore, those 2 series, like, you'd look a lot better if you just didn't drop both of those series. I'll say, like, as of that week was fine. Going 3-3 against, 6 games against those teams, totally fine. Logan Gilbert, if you just looked at it, the numbers, like the ERA and everything like that, it's going to look bad. He played very well. I think he pitched very well. He made one mistake to Franmil Reyes, who is a big boy with big toys. He just gets up there and swings real hard, and he caught one. Like, that's what they do. The 3 true outcomes guy. He got one. Logan left it a little bit over the plate, home run. And the other one, the 2-run home run, is to Jose Ramirez, who's a really good player. He's a perennial all-star, and I want him to be on the Mariners. Like, he didn't even hit that hard. I think it was only like 96 or something like that, or was that the other home run? But I think it was like he got enough and it went out. Like, so that's just what's going to happen. You're going to give up home runs to all-stars. Like, and other than that, he was pretty in it. He walked like one guy, I think, struck out a couple. He used only his fastball in the beginning and looked really efficient at that. Mixed in his curveball and slider really well. Slider struck out a couple people on. So actually, I was really excited. Like, people look at the 9 ERA and things like that. Honestly, it was much better than that. Like, Franmil Reyes doesn't make one mistake to Reyes, and it looks way better. And Ramirez got the pitch. So, like, there's nothing you can do about that. So he looked really good. Kelnick, he has, it's hard to say because, hitters, you kind of need a rhythm and everything like that. He's getting playing time, which is good. He looks like he has some holes. still in his game a little bit. But again, like I said, we ran him against Cleveland, and Cleveland can pitch. That's what those guys do. His third game is against Shane Bieber. Like, you're not going to see any Shane Biebers anywhere else than in the majors. Like, so we'll see. I really want to see what he does with Detroit. With this Detroit series, with these guys who aren't as good, what do they do? And that'll be kind of like where he's going to be right now, because he's only 21. Even if he doesn't play well this year, the season is not over. The sky's not falling. He's still a kid. He can barely drink. So let's just enjoy the fact that he's here now.
Yeah, I would agree with what you said about Kelenic. I mean, man, on Twitter, there could not have been a bigger hype train than if you get on the
for the Mariners fans. That was just hype it up.
True. Yeah, to hype it up. I mean, obviously, it's been a while since we've had anything to be excited about, so it's nice to have something to be excited about as a Mariners fan. That being said, Sean and I were playing Family Yahtzee at his first at bat, and I think he swung at like the second pitch, ripped it down the right field line, and it was a pretty good catch by the right fielder, actually. Yeah. So, looking at some of the bats I've seen on Twitter, as well as some of the highlights I've seen, it's just going to probably take some lumps. He's just going to take some time to get used to the speed of MLB pitches, and going against Bieber, that's a tough ask for any player, let alone a rookie in his first series. So it'll take some time, I think, for him to kind of get into a rhythm, and hopefully we'll start seeing some of those flashes. But the expectations that were put on him are very difficult to achieve. So I hope that Mariners fans are like tempering their expectations when it comes to Kelenic. Like, he's not going to come in and light the league on fire or anything like that. Like, it's going to take some time for him to figure it out and get into the rhythm of playing on a major league team. Gilbert, I didn't see him pitch, so I'm going to defer to you guys on that. But overall, I'm just curious. Pitching has been an interesting thing for the Mariners, and Marco is currently not back yet, so it's kind of interesting to see how they have been pitching without Marco in the rotation. And you guys can talk a little bit more about this than I can, but does Logan Gilbert fit into this 6-man rotation right now? He had one start, but is he the guy staying here for good, or is this something where it seems like he might be sent down at any moment if he doesn't perform? I really hope it's the former, where he just kind of stays here, figures it out at the major league level, and just kind of takes some tough games along with those games where he will probably be on. As you guys have mentioned, he's a great prospect. So hopefully he kind of pans out this season and kind of figures it out. But one start is nothing to worry about, or, sky's falling, like Sean said. So, the Mariners played not great against the Dodgers, but it was nice to see them pick up those 3 wins against Cleveland and get that record over 500. So hopefully the Mariners can, keep this momentum going a little bit, but it is early. It's still early. So we're still kind of trying to figure out where everyone's going to go and if anybody's leaving or going. And this kind of segues into our minor league prospect update. So Sean, do you have a minor league prospect update? I know Kevin does. He's excited about it.
I mean, where do I start? So Baseball America does occasionally hot prospects, and the Mariners have 3 of the 20 in all of baseball. Do you have one that you want to steal, Kevin? Because I got the numbers right here. If you want to go,
the only one I was gonna, we all know, I was gonna go ahead and talk about the hitters. I'll talk about about Kirby.
Okay. Julio Ardigas has an OPS of 1,400 the last week. He had another home run. He has 5 home runs. Let's see here. Kyle Raleigh has a 7-game hitting streak where has an OPS over 1,000. Trammell, I think, has almost a 2,000 OPS since he got sent down. He has 4 home runs already since he got sent down and has played in 3 games. The other one that was on that list is Marte. They're both the 3 of the top 10 hottest prospects in all of the minors, every team included. So, to give stats here, the Aqua Sox, as we said, were loaded. They had Kirby, they had Hancock, they had Julio Ardigas, they had Zach Deloche, they had a bunch of guys. They are in every single offensive stat: strikeouts, OPS, slugging, hits, doubles, triples, everything you could think of. They are first in everything except tied for second in 2 categories. hits and strikeouts. Then they're tied for second. Everything else, they're first place, and that includes pitching. And they're second walks. That Aqua Sox team is freaking loaded. That's where all the prospects are. Like, Kevin will get to the pitchers in that level, but like that entire Aqua Sox team is, if you're playing like, what is it, NBA Jam, they're on fire. Like the entire team. Zach Deloche right here, 980 OPS the last 7 games. Like, that's just what it is.
I would also like to mention before Kevin goes with the pitchers that I did see yesterday 20-3 over the poor Tri-City Dust Devils. Poor Tri-City Dust Devils.
I think they have a run differential. They've played like 10 games or something like that. Or no, probably like 14 games. It's like 40 something. Like, they are just absolutely mashing everybody.
Kevin, you got a George Kirby update?
So yeah, George Kirby this past week was super damn impressive, and pretty much everybody, if you saw online, wanted to murder the ump because Kirby is known for not giving up walks at all, and he gave up his first walk in the last 2 years, and it was a bullshit. Just
his first major league walk.
Yeah,
that way.
Yes. It was a trash call by the ump who just like stuttered and hesitated. And yeah. His last one was 5 innings, 8 Ks. I believe no earned runs, was it? And 1 walk. Yeah, he has just been a damn beast here. Let's see. 3.12 ERA for 2021. His whip is 0.81. Yeah, strikeouts 12, so 8. I don't know if they're including that from the most recent one they had because he had 8 this last week. But dude's just been a stud, like 8 Ks in 5 innings with, no earned runs and 1 walk that was bull crap. I'll take that. Emerson Hancock, also being a stud, 1.93 ERA on the season. I mean, so far he only has like almost 5 innings pitched, but I don't give a crap. 7 Ks, 2 walks, whip 1.07. Average hitting against him is 188. So also looking steadily. I'll take it. So yeah, it was just very impressive. But I just remember seeing the clip on Twitter of the walk, and I was just like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I was just like, "Oh, I was pissed at that up." But
Matthew, I got a stat for you, Matthew.
Yeah.
So if you take the other teams in the Aqua Sox league, all the teams with positive run differential, add them all together, they are barely half of the Aqua Sox run differential. The Aqua Sox are winning games by 5 runs a game. They've played 12 games, won 10, and their run differential is 60. Like, they are absolutely murdering everybody.
I mean, all I can say for Everett is enjoy this while it lasts. Because who knows how long they're going to be there.
Huh? They're all going to Arkansas soon because they're going to murder everybody in Arkansas. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. So if you're in Everett, go to an Aqua Sox game as soon as you can, because who knows how long that opportunity will be there to see these players. Yeah, so
how long do you keep Julio down there if he keeps continuing at this rate?
It's a speculation thing. I don't think anybody's really talked about it. 6 more days.
There's not really a rush to bring him to AAA, but at the same time, too, if he's just murdering people like he is kind of doing right now, to where it's just not appropriate for children to watch, why not move him up to AAA just to see? Especially, just having him and Trammell in that lineup just crushing bombs. Oh,
I mean, I would agree with you, Kevin. I mean, if he is clearly a man amongst boys there's no reason to keep him there. I mean, if he's dominating at the rate he is for a decent period of time, bring him up. Like, why wait at this point? Just put him into Tacoma and see what he's got. But obviously, you want to get a little bit more sample size with Julio. But I think it's
not Tacoma. There's a level between.
There is Modesto, but
Modesto's below.
Or sorry, Arkansas. Sorry, yeah. But if he keeps playing this well at this pace when he keeps going up, there's no, let him climb the ladder. let him earn his playing time. And I think he's certainly shown he can play in Everett no problem. So
Zach Deloche, for context, is the 6th best hitter that they have. His runs created plus is 130. The league average is 100. Like that's the 6th best Aqua Sox hitter that they have. Like they are murdering everybody. Like that lineup is 1 through 9, just like.
Wasn't there a game where they're not playing Salt Lake, they're playing Tri-Cities. Didn't they murder them like 22?
That's what Matthew was saying. Yeah, 22. Their worst hitter has an OPS of 700. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. Like.
So Sean, I'm sorry to say, Nolan will probably have to get an autograph from some other player. It's very unlikely.
At this rate, I'm just hoping maybe it's Noelve Marte, who is also killing it at Modesto, who will probably get called up to High A here soon.
Yeah.
So if you're in Everett, we said it once, please go watch that team because, man, they are definitely dominating at the High A level. But, gentlemen, I just want to bring up one feel-good story here. I'm going to share my screen here. I saw this on Twitter when I was scrolling yesterday. You can say what you will about J.P. Crawford. Actually, he's playing really well lately, so you can probably say good things about J.P. Crawford. But I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and, it's nice to see the Mariners have a lot of good players, not only on the field, but also, just good people. I saw this poor kid took a baseball to the face and had to leave the game. And J.P. Crawford is going to help this kid get hooked up with some stuff. So that's really nice of him. Hopefully he'll get to be able to come back out to another game and avoid the foul balls. Bring your glove, kids, and just, if you hear a pop-up, maybe just put it over your head. I don't know what the protocol is for kids, but just be careful out there because balls...
get him. What they should do, just put him behind home plate as a my bad type of deal, where you got the netting there, and then they get the best seats in the house, dang near, just right behind home plate.
Yeah, bats and balls may leave the playing surface, everyone. So be wary out there if you do get to Safeco. But Sean, you added a topic on here. I actually saw this on Twitter myself. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to bring it up, but I'm glad you did. So on Twitter, it is Lookout Landing. Mariners, I believe, blog website posted an article called "The Mariners Cannot Trade Mitch Haniger." Now, I did not read it, so I just want to let you guys go ahead and give your thoughts on it. I did look up Mitch Haniger's contract just to be sure I knew what the details were, and he's on a 1-year, $3 million deal with the Mariners this year. So I'm sure both of you read it, so I'm going to let you kind of have the floor here since you probably listened to this man's argument. So, Sean, what do you think of this article here?
Well, basically, I'm in a fantasy league with some of the members of Lookout Landing, so I won't besmirch them too much. But I will say I don't think. I mean, I get not trading Mitch Haniger, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people were talking online. I was having conversations with some people online. They want to sign Mitch Haniger, and this is what I was saying a couple years ago. I was talking to Kevin about Kyle Lewis. They're like, okay, if you sign Mitch Haniger, you have a very real problem. And the fact that you only have 3 outfield spots, you have 2 top 5 prospects on all base. I'll play outfield. You have the reigning rookie of the year. You have Mitch Haniger. You have Trammell, who's a 60th ranked prospect in baseball. Your 2nd round pick this last year was an outfielder. You have 6 guys. You cannot physically play 6 guys. Like you're just simply running out of spots. And at a certain point, capitalizing on selling high in a market needs to happen. Like at some point, it should have been Kyle Lewis last year. Should be maybe Mitch Haniger this year. But at some point, like I get everyone's like, oh, you've got to keep your guys. If they're playing well, you got to keep your guys. But at a certain point, like someone suggested to me that they're like, well, Mitch Haniger's your 4th outfielder. I'm like, you can't pay Mitch Haniger to stay because he's not going to stay cheap and then run him out as your 4th outfielder. If you pay Mitch Haniger, he has to play for you. He has to start for you. So I was reading this article, and they're talking about how like Paul Gallant, I mean, he's on 7-10. That's fine. Good for him. But I mean, I know how Kevin feels, but it's fine. I don't think he knows much about sports, but whatever. He doesn't want to trade Mitch Haniger for prospects. Now that's what I agree. I don't really want to necessarily trade him for a prospect, which is what this is saying, but it doesn't need to, a prospect as in like a Trammell type guy, a guy who if you had to call him up, like a Mackenzie Gore, you could call him up. He is ready. He just doesn't have a spot. Or a guy who needs like maybe just like a month of seasoning and he's ready. Not like a guy who's like 18, but like a guy who will play this year for the Mariners. I'm all for that. Either Kyle Lewis, Mitch Haniger, or somebody, but one of those two probably, because I think we all agree you're not trading Julio and you're not trading Kelnick. And so it comes down to one of the other two, and one of the other two probably needs to go. And it's whatever you can get back. And this article, again, also says that you can't trade Mitch Haniger because when you win the World Series or make a run, you need veterans. And they point to like the Nationals who had Howie Kendrick, Asdrubal Cabrera, Eric Thames. They didn't win because of those guys. Be very clear. They won because of pitcher and Juan Soto and Trey Turner. They didn't win because of Eric Thames. Like, be very clear here. So I don't need this excuse of you need vets to win World Series. They won because a 20-year-old was going nuts at the plate. Like, it's kind of the opposite. So like, and then they had 38-year-old Matt Scherzer, but that's pitching. That's a different issue. But like, holding him because he's old is also a bad idea. Like, or if people subscribe to that belief, then he should have more value to other teams. If you're like, you need a young guy, if you're a young team and you need Mitch Haniger, maybe the Padres, Mackenzie Gore, you need a veteran, we'll trade you a veteran. But like, the idea of just not trading any of these guys and hoping, and if they do all pan out, you've shot yourself in the foot and decreased your value because you know that you can't play all four of them consistently. Because let's say you have now made Ty France play infield, and that's terrible. You're trade while the market's hot, trade while you have something, trade while you have, while Mitch Haniger's healthy. Maybe he could get hurt next week and be done for the year. You never know. But like, I just don't understand this point of like these articles and everybody online saying, wait. When if somebody's offering you something, now this is all speculation, but if you get anything decent, like a middle infielder who's in AAA and is like ready to go in a week or so, pull the trigger. Like, let's do the thing, because as much as I love Mitch Haniger or Kyle Lewis, they're not all playing. You're not running a 4-man outfield. And it's Kevin, we talked about just now. Julio Ardigas is the hottest player in baseball, won the award last week for the best player in minor league baseball. He's coming sooner rather than later, guys. This conversation is running into a head next year, maybe even in September. You have to make this decision soon. That's my 2 cents.
All right, Kevin, what do you think?
For the most part, I do agree with Sean. I think to comment on something you recently said, I think you can put Ty France in the infield, just because
he's so bad. He's so bad.
I know, but this is where I have to get Sean's to think of a third party, like third opinion thing. Everybody on a team is not going to be Gold Glove at their position, and I'm not saying Gold Glove is a thing, but like, you're going to have 3 beast-ass outfielders. You have a Gold Glove at shortstop. You have pretty much a Gold Glove at first with Evan White, and Seager / Marte, if Marte plays third when he comes up, potentially going to be third. If your only shitty part is your second base, like, I think you're okay. Like, literally, you have everybody just jizzing at their position and one. Like, literally every team would give their testicles to have that. Like, most teams don't have that. Don't even have half of that.
Yeah,
like,
but the problem is with those other two beast infielders you're talking about, they can't hit for nothing. So like that, like it's not, if they were monsters at that, like JP and Evan can't hit. So like, if they were well-rounded players, that's an argument. But they're just defensive players right now.
JP is
first of all, JP's playing better. He's playing better. So don't knock JP.
He's playing better, but like he's not. Let's just be very clear. He's not like absolutely tearing it up.
No, I think what he needs to do in the offseason is just put on muscle. He needs to put on about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. I think
Jared Kelnick still has a higher OPS than him. So he has like 1 hit. He has like 2 games where he has a hit. So like, let's just be very clear. Like he's progressing, so to speak, and that's what I want to see. Like, he's nowhere near what he was doing like at the end of last year, like where he's like sub 100 or sub 200, like type of stuff. Yes, he needs to get on base more and steal more bases and stuff like that. That's his bread and butter, is getting on base, using his speed. And he does try to swing at a lot of stuff. He needs to take a little bit more walks. Don't be D. Gordon. You cannot have a 310 slugging. Like, you just can't do it, man. Like, he's killing it there.
At the same time, too, not everybody is Trout. Like, everybody has their own unique things. Like some people are speed guys, some people are power guys, and then there's some that are just a mix.
That doesn't play in today's baseball, man. 312 does not play.
But everybody else on your team is like that. That's what you're setting up to be, to where your outfield literally does that with Ty France. And if Marte keeps doing all that, like your 1 through 6 does that. Like
Well,
literally every team is going to hand over and be like, Sean, here's my testicles. Give me that. Like,
but if he keeps doing that, he's not the shortstop next year. You can't have a 312 slugging guy.
That's what I'm saying. You can't afford that when literally your 1 through 6 is doing that. Like then you just move them to the back of the lineup, because literally you are expecting everybody to have a slugging above 600, which no team has.
Don't have a D Gordon slugging. D Gordon isn't playing baseball for a reason. Like he is the 3rd lowest percentile in like hard hit. Like he's just not playing.
And I'm saying he's getting better. It's still May too. Like we're acting like it's September right now. It's May.
Improved to 312. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not great.
He can continue to improve, and what he needs to do is put on weight to where he can sustain that through a season and get better. Like he's skinny as shit. Like he needs to put on like Lindor type weight to play his, because like do that stuff constantly, to have a little bit more power, better slugging. And that's what I imagine that's probably what their plans in the off season are to do. Like, hey, put on 10 pounds of muscle, go hit the weights. Like literally that's
JP Crawford weighs more than Lindor.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but yeah, Lindor is more athletically gifted and has bigger, more in shape and muscle and shit. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know.
But what we're expecting to where like 1 through 9 is like Mike Trout, or like Mike Trout.
There's a very big difference between JP Crawford right now and Mike Trout. Like,
yeah, I know. I'm saying, but the expectations of having everybody being all-star caliber level 1 through 9. Even though right now our farm system looks like that, and it's going to be great if they do all pan out to be like that. But like most teams would literally sacrifice their families to have that. Like
I get what you're saying, but that slugging isn't major league level even. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the major league level.
Can I jump in here? Can I jump in here?
Go ahead.
I would like to come to the defense of Kevin and JP Crawford here. Like his hitting will improve. Like I'm not super worried about JP Crawford's hitting, and he's not going to be high up in your lineup anyway with the bats you have coming in. So I don't think that's really an issue here. And JP is an outstanding defensive player, and I think that's where he really excels anyway. So I'm not super worried about the offense as long as he, drives in a few runs and gets on base. Like that's all we really need. Like he's not going to be a power hitter. He's not going to be hitting many home runs. Get on base every now and then. That's really what we need from you. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, too, if he doesn't, then he can be what your Haggerty is right now. Like the guy that does, like, who's on your bench, that comes in and gives guys days off, or does pitch running and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like he can be that too. Like
I'm totally fine with that, because it's that great.
We're just expecting September numbers in May on coming off of a short season where he literally didn't have, full spring training last year.
And never been good. So that's what I'm saying. Like he needs to start getting better.
Yes, I know. But like this is where I always come, because Sean always thinks that people have to be all-stars out of the gate in both football and baseball. Some people learn progressions differently. Not everybody
27, comes out. Kevin. Like he's played 6 years in the majors. Like,
do you think Toronto
who he is?
Yes. Toronto would have done that, like just shot themselves in the foot had they not given the time to Edward Encarnacion to develop. Edward Encarnacion didn't develop until he was 30, and then he became a fucking beast for that's 6-7 years.
Not the rule, Kevin. That's the exception, not the rule.
I know, but I'm not saying that it's going to happen to everybody, but it's also not going to never happen. Like
it's true,
it's going to happen to some players. Like everybody thought Marte that we traded off to Arizona was going to be dog shit, and he turned into something really good. Like, and then Arizona fans thought Haniger wasn't going to do anything, and then look what Haniger did when he became. It literally just
defense will keep him playing for sure.
Not everybody is the young crazy prospect. It just takes time, especially in baseball. Like baseball's so much harder, like to do.
And the development is real in baseball. I'll agree. Development's real in baseball.
And sometimes it just takes like different eyes and stuff like that, different coaching. Like look what Kikuchi did over this last year. Like he literally went to a different place, worked on his pitching, and he's a stud so far. Like he's literally become pretty much the starter for us this year.
Just because last year, just unlucky.
Can I jump in on the Haniger topic?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I have looked at Haniger's contract situation. Obviously, we all know his injury history. I would probably say Haniger could be traded for the right price. And I would say that with pretty much anybody on the Mariners roster. Now, Kelnick and, those higher prospects and your better players, they're going to cost a little bit more, obviously. For Haniger, I think you would need to get established starting pitching. I would agree. I do not want prospects back for Haniger. And I would have to agree with Sean. Like his value is never higher. And there's no saying he couldn't come back when he's a free agent. Like he could. Now, is it likely? Who knows? Who knows how Haniger feels, where he wants to go, and how it might all pan out. But you could trade him, and then he could theoretically come back. So if there is an offer that is, too good to refuse, if you're Dipoto, I would probably say take it, as long as you get something back that is going to work and fit into your system right away. Like it better be a starting pitcher that can play right away, or a relief pitcher that is very solid and reliable. Some sort of need that you can fill. If you get it from Mitch Haniger, I say pull the trigger. Now, I understand the argument for not trading Mitch Haniger, but it is a risk, because you do want to get value for guys. And will he come back when he's a free agent? I would say flip a coin, because I don't think anybody knows the answer to that at this moment. So I think the value right now is good enough to where you can get something, but do you have to trade him? No, I don't think you have to. You would need to wait for the right offer. I think that can we all agree on that? You have to wait for the right offer for Mitch in order to make a trade for him.
For Mitch,
trade him.
You're going to need to move one.
Yes.
I mean,
his contract's going to run out anyway, so he can be gone anyway.
So get something for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you're not winning this year. So you need to get something for him or somebody.
But what if one of these prospects doesn't pan out, and then you lose Mitch?
They're playing either way.
You have six.
It doesn't matter. You're playing Julio either way. Even if he's gonna play, you're not gonna bench Julio till 2 years. So you're gonna sign Mitch Haniger and then sit him for 3 years and then play him. That's not an option. Like, then at that point, you figure out the outfield spot, because guess what? Free agency, the two easy positions to find: outfield and DH. That's another thing too. You sign this outfielder, Mitch Haniger, to be your DH. You've now limited the most opportunities are first baseman, DH, and outfield. Like, there's no second base market. There's a short step market this year, but like there won't be one for a decade after this. But
all right, well, sorry, go ahead, Kevin. You can wrap it up.
Because I technically, with the Ty France and the Crawford thing, I never actually answered Sean's thing. Yes, you should trade one of them, whether if it's Haniger or not, because you want to have probably four, because one's probably going to be your DH. Because what I was going to say, if you move Ty France into infield, your fourth becomes your DH, and you slot him in and out just for rest and stuff like that, with like a fielder, or if one gets injured type of deal, then you can kind of play that game. Whether if it's Haniger or not, honestly, because I think Dipoto has a really good relationship with the Padres from what we've seen, and we've just traded a crap ton with him. Why not go get Mackenzie Gore from him? Because their starting pitching is stacked right now with Snell. I mean, Clevenger's out, but he's going to come back. Freaking, what's his name? From who was on the Cubs? Crap, I had him last year in fantasy. Darvish, yes.
He's right now, he's beasting right now.
Yeah, like their starting five right now is just nuts. Like, I mean, they're going to make room for Mackenzie Gore when he comes up, because it's Mackenzie Gore. But
Who Jared Kelly beasted, but anyways.
Yeah. So like why not go be like, hey, there's this Haniger guy and you guys need like good outfield pieces to add on to your hitting because your starting pitching is really good. Can we get that Mackenzie Gore guy and just bring him on over here? And then our starting 5 rotations just stupid. Like,
and then to Kevin's point, trading, because like let's say our pitchers come up and they all pan out. Trading a starting pitcher is much easier and you get much more in return for a starting pitcher. Like if we have all these young starting pitchers, we can ask basically for whatever we want from anybody. Be like, we have controllable young pitchers. That's like gold in baseball. And if you have extras of those, that extra outfielder is nothing compared to an extra young starting pitcher. Like it's night and day difference. And so you could whatever position you have of need, you're like, I'll take a Corey Seager, like for one of them, like whatever you want, you name your price basically at that point.
Yeah.
So having more starting pitchers is never, ever a bad thing because like Matthew's point, if anybody's getting hurt or like a Mitch Haniger, a starting pitcher is getting hurt. Like they get hurt all the time. So having extra starting pitchers is like huge.
I mean, this year alone. Yeah. Is the amount of pitching.
The last big 3 we had, Danny Holtson was 1 inning away from making his major league debut and didn't make a debut till 12 years later. He got hurt that inning, never played in the manner, never started a game. Like you could be pitches away from making your major league debut, have multiple surgeries and never pitch. Like, so like injuries happen all the time. It can happen completely at random. So have tons of starting pitchers.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let's wrap this topic up. Tell us what you think of Mitch Haniger and whether or not he should be traded. Tweet at us. I'm at Beta Sean's at Sean's Kev's at Kev's Believe the first team Believe 3. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about Mitch Haniger and the rest of the Mariners season so far, and Jared Kelnick and Logan Gilbert and all those fun players. But gentlemen, let's move to some National Football League. So the schedule was officially released last Wednesday. So I'm just going to roll down it real quick. So week 1 at Indianapolis, week 2 hosting Tennessee, week 3 at Minnesota, week 4 at San Francisco, week 5 Thursday night football versus the Los Angeles Rams, Sunday night football at the Pittsburgh Steelers, week 7 Monday night football versus New Orleans Saints, week 8 versus Jacksonville, week 9 bye, week 10 at Green Bay, week 11 home to Arizona, week 12 at Washington on Monday Night Football, week 13 hosting San Francisco on Sunday Night Football, and then week 14 at Houston, week 15 at Los Angeles Rams, week 16 home versus Chicago, week 17 home versus Detroit, and then to wrap up the regular season, week 18 at the Arizona Cardinals. So, gentlemen, I just want to get maybe your general thoughts on the schedule, and then I want you to give me the game that you're circling on the schedule that you really want to watch outside of the division, home and away. So I will go ahead and start. So we already knew.
Before you do you have it on your screen to where you can share it for people?
Oh, yeah, I can share it for people. Good call, Kevin. So just so everybody can see the schedule visually, there it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So the road game that I am really looking forward to, honestly, is week 1. I'm very curious to see how the Colts come together this next year. They had Phillip Rivers last year, and Phillip came in and made them a pretty solid team, a playoff team. And Sean would argue should have beat the Bills in the playoffs, I'm sure. But, you know, I'm curious to see how Carson Wentz plugs into that offense with a coordinator who he's familiar with, who he had success with in Philadelphia. And, you know, the Colts have a really good defense. So this will be a good test for Russell Wilson and that offensive line week 1. Not to mention that defense going up against, you know, Carson Wentz and a pretty solid offense there in Indianapolis. So I think that is going to be probably my most intriguing road game, and especially since it's like one of the only 2 10 a.m. games they have this year, which is another thing I thought was just crazy lucky scheduling that they were able to get only 2 10 a.m. games. Now, granted, they've improved their record on the road in 10 a.m. games. Usually those are East Coast games, but it's kind of crazy to only see them have 2 10 a.m. games this season. So book out your afternoons on Sundays in the fall and winter, ladies and gentlemen. But the home game I am most curious to see outside of the division is honestly week 2, and it's the Tennessee Titans. Now, I say this because, you know, the Titans have been a playoff team the last couple of years. After getting Tannehill, they've been pretty solid, doing really well in that AFC South division. I'm just curious how they're going to match up against the Seahawks. It's, the defense is probably going to have some tough go with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry. So I think that's going to be a tough test for the defense. And then the offense, that defense can be taken advantage of. So first home game, I think that the Seahawks will really get a test onto how good their offense is as well as their defense. So those are the two games I'm looking forward to most. I just realized I picked both AFC South teams, so a lot of variation there for me. But those are the two games I'm most looking forward to outside of the division. Second runner-up for home game would be Chicago week 16. I think Justin Fields will probably have that job secured by then if he hasn't been playing all season. So that'll be very curious to see what that team comes in like, because they've been a playoff team with Mitchell Trubisky the last couple of years. So if Justin Fields is as advertised, that could be for potential playoff seeding. So that would be an interesting game depending on the stakes towards the end of the season. So Sean, I'm going to throw it to you. What are your two games that you're looking forward to, and what do you think of the schedule?
Well, it's a toss-up between Detroit, Houston, Washington. I mean, those are just juggernauts. I want to say before, I don't really like the new schedule, not because I liked playing division. I'm not the only one who liked playing division games at the end of the year. I really like that. Now, like playing Detroit the last week, like just kind of feels weird to me. I liked we finished with our division. We do get Arizona, but I just liked us to run through those teams at the very end. But I will say, I think we got really lucky this year in general. Like we play Washington, who in that division, they won the division, but I would rather had not played Dallas. So whoever has to play Dallas in our division sucks to be you. We play the Saints. Oh no, we play that whole division, don't we? No, we play the Saints, who now don't have a quarterback. So I'd rather not play Tampa Bay. Sucks to be the Rams, but or not, would rather not play Tampa Bay. So we got lucky there too. And we play Pittsburgh, who honestly, asking you guys out loud, I'd rather play them than Baltimore or Cleveland, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think, Kevin? Yeah. So I think with those, the games outside the two divisions we share, I think we got super lucky. I don't know if we play any of the teams that are the best out of those divisions. So I think we got very lucky there. But after finally looking at it, I would say the game I'm most looking forward to on the road is Pittsburgh. I want to see what we look like, because at the end of the day, that offense, I don't think is any. They wasted a first round pick on a running back. They have old Ben Roethlisberger. They had so many other issues. That defense though is legit, and they're scary. Sorry, what offense are we running at that time? What do we look like on offense is what I really want to know. And so I really want to see how we stack up against let's be honest, like we talked about at the end of last year, what we look like against an NFL defense at the end of the year. I'm not talking playing Washington. I'm not talking playing the Jets. I'm talking like that's a team that defense is good enough to be in the playoffs. So I want to see how we stack up against them. And then at home, man, like Chicago is a good pick too, Matthew, because I just don't know if we have a lot of home teams. But to be different, I'll pick Jacksonville. I want to play Tennessee too. Like, man, I'll pick Chicago because I just don't think our home games are as interesting. Because Saints, like their quarterback's what? Taysom Hill.
I mean, who knows who their quarterback's would be, honestly.
Like, I mean, you have the best team in the world, but if he's your quarterback, I ain't worried about you. I'll say Chicago. Fields getting, in theory, 10 games at that point under his belt, probably, I would guess. So that's who I want to see, what we stack up against with that team.
Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, the schedule as a whole, other than the division, like, it's not bad. Like, there's a lot of question mark teams. As Sean already mentioned, like, Carson Wentz could come with Frank Wright, back. But, are they going to have that all together week one? Probably not. Like, so I think we got really now it would have been more interesting to see like us play the Colts post week 10. Like when he's got, more adjusted back into Frank Wright's system.
What's the latest bye week? Did it change?
I could not tell you that off the top of my head.
There is a week 14.
I was gonna say I think that's the latest now. I think I got pushed back
Because one of the Super Bowl winning teams this year is going to be from that.
Yeah, that's Kevin. Yeah, that's right. Kevin posted a stat. So Kevin,
Yeah.
talk about your bye week. What do you think about that too?
Oh yes. Actually, I kind of like it. It's because we usually kind of get the weird early buys.
Yeah.
And then like we get like for two. I mean, last year wasn't nearly as bad, other than like Jamal Adams being really hurt toward the end. But like 2 years ago, like we were really hurting, and
like we got a 4 bye or something like that. Like
even though we just played wrong too, because we're like all our running backs are dead, and then it should have been like, well, just let Russell throw the ball because all our receivers are healthy. But Pete's like, let's go get Marshawn. Yeah, so I actually liked the week 9 bye. The fact that there's now 18 weeks though, I would have rather had like a 10 or 11 probably. But I'll take week 9 versus like the poor bastards that are like week 4, week 5.
It splits it in half. Like,
did it move up? So it's like the first week of week 5 by then? Or I can't imagine it's still week 4 and 14. So
I haven't looked at the other teams like buys and stuff like that.
Or did they? Because I don't know relative how. Because it looks like if it's all the way to 14, that looks like week 9 is probably pretty early then, or early-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I said, Kevin, like you said, it's right in the middle of the season. So I mean, that's fine.
It will help.
Yeah.
So game I'm looking forward to the most on the road, most definitely actually is Green Bay. Just because if Aaron Rodgers is there, that's your biggest prep on whether this team can win a Super Bowl. Because most likely, unless he dies, the Chiefs are getting back to the Super Bowl. I mean, let's just be frank. Like, Patrick Mahomes is just really damn good. And the Chiefs, like, they got a new fresh O-line, and they got depth to that O-line because they're like, well, we saw what happened last year when our O-line died, so we're going to go get depth as well. Yeah, the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs again. So that's kind of your test to see is if you can hang with Patrick Mahomes is going one-on-one against Aaron Rodgers. Like
the buys start week 6.
God, those poor people. Like, that sucks.
That's the 49ers.
Oh,
49ers, Jets.
That might help. That might help us.
Atlanta, Saints, Jets, and 49ers.
Jets. Gosh. So, like, Seahawks fans need to circle week 10, and it's also coming off a bye week, so that's also interesting too, because we're usually really good after a bye week, and we usually suck the week before. So Jacksonville might be a trap game. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I mean, Packers fans hate the crap out of us, and we all know why. So how is it not going to be really good? How is that not, for one? Also, how is that not a primetime game?
I was going to say, Kevin, like, it really sucks at the end of the year. It ends with kind of bad games because usually we could get a game flexed, but we're not going to get like Detroit flexed or Houston. Like
the Arizona game, maybe, depending on how the division.
And it depends on Chicago too. Like if Chicago's good too, that game gets flexed. But like, yeah, if we had San Francisco at the end of the year, that game's totally getting flexed.
Like, before the schedule comes, like, they know Drew Brees is gone. So why? I mean, I know you still want to give the Saints some primetime games, but like how the Arizona Seahawks one is not. The Seahawks Green Bay one, is not primetime. I have no idea. Home game, probably I'm going to say Jacksonville, just because one, we look like poop before our buys. So it'll be, like I said, it could be a track game. 2, it's Trevor Lawrence and a revamped like Jacksonville team. I just want to see it. Just because, it'll be interesting to see. I want to see the kid play. I think he's good. I think I don't know if he'll like light up the stage like this year, but I think he eventually could turn that team around if they keep drafting well and not drafting running backs in the first round when they already have a running back.
They had 2 running backs. They had Hyde.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, they got Carlos Hyde. Why go get another one in the first? Urban Meyer. That makes no sense.
2 first-round picks, man.
But anywho, yeah. Sorry, that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if about a second one. I would say probably Chicago in the whole just because that defense is still very good. That if Justin Fields is, game managing at least, that could be a trap game. Just because Chicago's defense is still better than normal. So, who knows?
Kevin, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you like the Giants this next year?
No. It's really going to depend on. This is the year where you find out if Daniel Jones is for real, because you got him weapons in Galladay.
Do you think he's good, or do you think they're good? Like,
no.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say the Rams. If you said yes, the Rams absolutely get screwed in their scheduling because they would get Baltimore, Tampa Bay, and the Giants out of those division.
I think Joe Judge could be okay. Like, he's shown, like, he took poop last year and made it okay. I mean, they did beat us. Let's be frank. I mean, part of that was our own stupidity and Pete Carroll, but I'm not going to even get into that. But at the same time, too, they also had to do things. It's just the throwing game, really. He has the wheels to get him out of trouble, which we're all kind of surprised by. Now it's like you have the weapons. Your O-line is not bad. You have Saquon coming back. Like, this is the year, like, you got to prove it or they're going to probably draft a quarterback.
Yeah. Looking at the teams in our division, I think we got us in San Francisco, unfortunately, got very lucky in the teams we play in those, like, the games where you don't split, just play the same division. Like, because, I mean, unfortunately, the 49ers get the Bengals, then the Falcons, and Philadelphia.
I don't know, like that. So I'm going to go into that just like super quickly. Bengals, yeah, they still have some. I mean, Joe Burrow was kind of heating up a little bit.
I agree.
They're on more weapons.
They're on the way up, but they
had 3 playoff teams in that division already. So
Falcons are going to be the very interesting team because that offense was, and people were like, why'd you bring back Matt Ryan? I'm like, Matt Ryan was dropping 40 like damn near every game last year. Matt Ryan is not the problem. Like, the defense being a hot pile of dog shit was the problem. Like,
and you spent your first pick on a tight end. I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know if their plan was like Matt Ryan carry us to the promised land, like type of deal, which Matt Ryan, I don't know if he can kind of do it, but like,
probably not anymore. I don't think.
But like you say, like Kevin, like there's a point where just like at some point get a defensive guy. Like, you have enough offensive pieces. Like, we're like, you'll be fine. Just stop giving up 50 a game. Like, at a certain point, like, stop doing it. Dallas Cowboys, stop giving up 45 a game.
I don't know if it's like they couldn't find anybody to trade back, so they're just like, there's no corner that we could really take with a fourth, even though, like, who gives a fuck?
Not really corner. You have like 9 pieces you need on defense. Like,
yeah,
just
like
somebody. Like,
there was people you could have. Yeah, it might have been a little bit of a reach at 4, but who gives a crap? Like, if you need that player, go get him.
Yeah.
Like, Kyle Trask was just like an extra. Now that offense looks.
Oh, I love Pitts, but like, did you need Pitts? Like,
it was kind of like it was Dallas Cowboys selection like last year. It's like, did you need CeeDee Lamb? Like, you already had, Cooper and then like
certainly helps.
They proceeded to give up 45 a game as well.
Did it though? Yeah, I was gonna say their defense was hot dog shit. And did they make the playoffs? No, because like their defense was hot. You have to have somewhat of a defense.
Somebody made the playoffs, but no one deserved to make the playoffs.
Now but also the quarterback did die, so that also kind of contributes to
his leg exploded.
Let me bring it back here to the Seahawks schedule. So I do want to say some things that do concern me a little bit. So 3 of the first 4 games on the road, not ideal. I mean, obviously, Indy, Minnesota, San Francisco, that's not an easy road start. But I think the Seahawks could go 2-2 in that span. Like, that is a tough 3 road games and then home game against Tennessee. Like, they could go 2-2 in that start. So I think that's a tough start for the season. I do want to mention, you guys talked about the division schedule. I think it's really tough how they got week 4 on the road against San Francisco, and then they have a 4-day break between facing the Los Angeles Rams at home. Like, that is a tough back-to-back on a 4-day rest. Like, with division opponents, like that is a tough draw right there. But overall, like I think the schedule kind of worked out pretty well for them. I do like the bye week at week 9, like kind of right in the middle of the season. Like you're probably going to be a little bit banged up, if not severely. So that's a solid place to have your bye week and get some health back. But the Jacksonville game is a little bit intriguing. It's like, if Trevor Lawrence is the guy, like they could give the Seahawks some problems. Like I think that could be a trap game, as we like to call it. So it's
like you said, like right after San Francisco, Rams, Pittsburgh, Saints, they all play defense. Like that is not going to be a fun run like through that right there. Jacksonville's kind of like the weird game, but like Kevin said, we struggle right before the bye week, so it's going to be a little trap game. We're going to run through gauntlet of 4 teams. We'll probably be banged up real hard and then play Jacksonville. So that's a game, like Kevin said, to watch for. And then we come back with Green Bay. Like we have to survive through week 13 because that's what we'll really know kind of what's going on, because we should do pretty well against the bottom of that schedule. Should on paper.
And if Aaron Rodgers isn't there, then that Green Bay game drops significantly.
Yeah,
I would say. Jordan Love or whoever is there, Blake Bortles. I don't care who you roll out there. Like that game drops significantly without Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know. It seems like he's pretty angry, but I would expect him to suit up and play and not waste a year at 37.
How much of that is Sheffield making crap out of his butt?
I don't think Schefter would make up any of that. Absolutely not.
I don't know if he made up all of it.
He literally got caught on the show of Dan Patrick's show saying that literally, like he had no resources behind it, that it was all old resources. He was just like, well, Aaron Rodgers was pissed last year, so I just assumed that he would, like, it was literally trending on Twitter for like 14 hours. Like, did you not see that?
I mean, either way, I don't think there's not validity to the situation.
Aaron Rodgers did say he's not happy, so
yeah,
but the whole thing that he posted on draft day saying that he's not coming back, that was Schefter or whatever his name is, like just waking up and putting crap up there. Like everybody was pissed at him.
I mean, it's similar to the Russ situation. Like I don't think there's really too much significant value there, except for something to talk about. Really.
I think it's the same thing. I think Aaron Rodgers said everything Schefter said. It's just not supported. It's his people. I think that's what it is. Like,
yeah.
And Adam Schefter's not going to tell you like I was told that by this person. He's not.
And Aaron Rodgers is not going to say that to Schefter because he knows what would happen. Adam
Schefter's basically eating one for now because he's not giving up the sources. Because if he does, he's never getting a scoop from them again. So
absolutely.
He already mentioned in his interview with Pat McAfee that he doesn't talk to Schefter anymore.
Yeah.
Who?
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, that's why it came from camp.
He only does stuff for Pat McAfee. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's why it came from his camp.
It's not through Aaron Rodgers. It's through Aaron Rodgers' people.
That's absolutely.
Like Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers didn't say any of this stuff. He told everyone, his people, to say this stuff.
Because Aaron and Russ both know they cannot say it. Their camp can say it, and nothing will come of it.
It's just basically like a buffer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just don't think he goes. But like we were getting back to it, I think looking at San Francisco's schedule, they're a little tougher earlier in the year. So we'll know probably by the time we play them, was it the second time, week 13, how it's going. Whether that's a must win for us if we've got to make up games, or if it's like, we can coast it. Because I think our end of the schedule is pretty easy, and so is theirs. So I think that game, week 13, I don't know when the flexes start. I don't know if you do, guys. But we're already Sunday night that day anyways. That's going to be like early season. That might be a game that really puts someone ahead for that division play right there, because we both have like Cincinnati and like Houston after that. So like that's a real last, other than like we each play the Rams one time, but like.
All right, so I want to get out of here on one last thing. So we've got 5 primetime games this year. LA Rams, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Washington, San Francisco. Quick record of primetime games this season. Seahawks usually play pretty well in primetime. I'm going to go first. I'm going to say 4-1. I think they lose to the 49ers, but win everything else. Sean, what do you think?
Oh, man, I'm doing math here. Hold on. I say 3-2. We lose our division games.
Kevin?
49ers and Rams. We beat Pittsburgh, Saints, and Washington.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 4-1. But I think we lose to.
Yeah, I was gonna say just say the Rams, so then we're all not the same. Yeah.
Guys, even though I think it's gonna take a while for
Stafford?
Lance to for the Niners to kind of. It's gonna be a big primetime game in Seattle, and you're gonna have fans back.
No, we play in San Francisco. Oh no, it's in Seattle. It's in Seattle.
Primetime is in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to cause them a little bit, Trey Lance, a little bit of a time there. And the Rams are just the Rams. I mean, we're going to get murdered both times by the Rams, to be honest. That's why, like, post week 13, I think the only game that we do lose would be to the Rams. I think you win the rest. Other than that, like, other than Green Bay, there's not really. And then division games are always kind of a toss-up. The only one I could really see us losing is the Titans. And the only reason I say that is because the Titans are going to run Derrick Henry. And then, like, Pete Carroll's going to be like, oh, my God, I need to run the ball too. Yeah. And then,
do you think, Kevin, Trey Lance starts? Is it week 1?
Yes.
So he will have already been to Philadelphia and Chicago. And those are notorious, like those aren't easy places to play.
Yeah, it takes at least a year. Like, and plus unless it's us or the Chiefs. Well, Philly, I could maybe see a little bit. Us, like, I'm talking like a lot, like volume. Like,
and you're assuming we're full capacity at that point.
Oh, I think we will be. Yeah, I think we will be.
I think we will be.
We should. If not, I mean, even like we're still allowed without full capacity.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the rate it's going right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let it.
You're gonna be shit out of luck there.
All right. Well, let us know what you think about the Seahawks schedule. Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Matt. Sean's at Sean Betty. Kev's at Kev's First Team Believes Me at 3. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think of the Seahawks schedule. Follow us on the Eli Network. Gentlemen, I want to get us out on this great GIF I just saw from the Tacoma Rainiers. Taylor Trammell, you gave us a very solid GIF. Meme. What am I saying? GIF. Meme with this photo earlier this season. So really like this meme, and keep tearing it up, Taylor. Keep tearing it up.
We've had a pretty good 5 games in Tacoma so far.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. So, gentlemen, thank you very much, and we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports.